my baby, she left me far away. I said, don't worry, don't cry, I got Shane's podcast. Breaking the jive and talking. Nobody else is good as this. Breaking the jive talking. I'm breaking the jive. Oh yeah, on a jive, girl. Let's go, let's jive. Oh God, that was good. The situation is I feel like when I'm not singing, and I should be singing, I'm more concentrated on playing those keynotes. How does Elton John do that shit? Where he can sit there and not even think about how he's tickling the ivories, and he can just sit there and, goodbye, Norma Jean, though I never knew you at all, you have a great... You know, how do you do that? It's hard. I mean, I guess it just takes practice, right? Because I was a drummer for a long time. And you go, how do you get all your limbs to do that all at once? But it's just brain training. You're teaching this leg over here to go, tss, 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 and this hand's going, tss, 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 and then you got your stem, you know, and you just teach yourself, and that's how that works. Welcome one and all back to episode 134 of the fine, uber awesome kind of podcast, which is my podcast, Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo. Every week, the finest. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I like the kind of daytime talk show stories from heavy metal and hard rock, okay? I can hear about everyone say, oh, there's another tour. And, oh, how did he record this record? I like the story. I like the skank. Is that what they call it? The skank and pickle, I like the garbage, okay, guys? We're here. It's episode 134. We've got a cavalcade of stories to get to. Trickster's on the line. Glenn Hughes is on the line. Tom Morello's on the line. And we have something absolutely heartbreaking to announce here. This is Ace Frehley. You know him? He's the spaceman. He's the OG spaceman from Kiss. And he has just put out an album called Cherry Medicine, in which he has about 7 or 8 songs about his lovely gal pal, Lara Cove. They have decided to split. His fiance, and they're putting up those episodes all the time on YouTube, shopping with the Frehleys. Now he's going to have another Frehley. He's going to have another hotter, younger model of Frehley over there with him. When he's going, hey, look at that. I want to get those SpongeBob SquarePants sheets for the bed. That's probably what drove her right out the door, but we're going to learn about this first off the bat. Here we go. Ace Frehley announces split from Fiance, the wonderful and delightful, after nearly 6 years together, Lara Cove. And he says, it was just time. You know, it was just time. Ace Frehley and his fiancée, the delightful Lara Cove. She's probably already got a podcast started. Ace Frehley and his fiancée Lara Cove have split after nearly 6 years together. The original guitarist, who had lived in Sparta, New Jersey with Lara for the past few years, announced the end of the relationship from the stage during his June 15th concert at the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in Charlestown, West Virginia. You're kidding me. Prior to launching into the song Rock Soldiers, Ace told the crowd, oh my God, is the video down below? Oh my gosh. Guys, I didn't know that. Prior to launching into Rock Soldiers, great tune, Ace Frehley's comment, Ace told the crowd, I broke up with my ex, Laura. Sorry, she's gone. I still care about her. Wonderful girl. Beautiful girl. We decided to part our own ways. And she's happy. I'm happy. It was just time. Things go south, right? 3 out of 4 marriages end after 5 years in the country, statistically. I don't want to be a bearer of bad news, but that's reality. So he did that from the stage. Okay, so we got to hear him do that then. Okay, we'll cut to the mustard. For her part, Laura addresses her split with Ace in a post on her My Art of Glass Facebook page. We might have to do a video about Lara Cove and her glass blowing. Is that what she does? Puts her lips on that hot pipe and have you seen them do that? There's a Netflix series called Blowing Loads, or no, it's called No, that's another channel. It's called Blowing Glass or something like that. It's on Netflix. It's amazing what they make out of hot glass. You know, they're making all sorts of things. I thought you could just make round things out of glass, but you can't. You can make lots of things. For her part, Laura addressed her split with Ace in a post on her My Art of Glass Facebook page. And she wrote, "Dear friends and sweet dear followers, after much thought and heartfelt conversation, Ace and I have decided to part ways. Our love and respect for each other remains strong, and we will always treasure the bond we've shared and the memories we've created together. This decision is a step we are taking as we both embark on a new path in our lives." Meaning, I'm going on to do something else, and, well, Ace will probably be in a grave soon. And I will go to the funeral if that happens. We're not wishing that on him. No bad juju here, okay? Is that bad to say? Though that bad juju, is that a bad thing? I feel like that's not a thing that you can say anymore. But she's going on a different path. She's going to go blow some glass, and he's going to be, The decision is a step we take as we both embark on new paths in our lives. I refuse to say one bad word about him, and will not be discussing our breakup further. This statement is the only comment I will make on that matter. Out of respect for him and my own integrity, I am grateful for the support and kindness you have always shown us. Please continue to extend that love as we navigate this new chapter. With gratitude and warmth, Lara. In recent months, who's he doing? He's out there doing something. In recent months, Ace's YouTube channel had shared several videos of him and Laura grocery shopping. What did I tell you? At the local supermarket, as well as shopping. Hey, do you got any of those bagels back there? I want a bagel. As well as shopping for new printer. Oh, really? At a local office supply store, Staples. We gotta go over to Staples, 'cause I gotta get a new copy machine. In a September 2020 interview with Access TV at Home and Social with Ace, explained why he ended up moving back to the East Coast after living in California for several years. He said, "I originally grew up in the Bronx. I'm a native New Yorker. In 2018, I hooked up with an elementary school teacher in New Jersey. Moved in with her. Her 2 kids and a dog. Yeah. And now I'm in New Jerseyite." Elaborating on how he ended up in a relationship with a school teacher. How does that happen? What's 2 plus 2, Ace? Her name's Lara Cove. And I met her December 7th, 2018. My mind is like the delicate inner workings of an owl's chest. I'm smart. I remember the exact date. She wouldn't let me not talk about it for one day. Every day. Do you remember how we met? What was the date we met, dear? Tell the friends. Met her in December 7th, 2008 at a KISS convention. Can you believe it? Can you believe the girl that I met that was a school teacher was actually a fan and she was at the convention? Because those things are expensive, I'm telling you. In New Jersey. That I was actually performing at. I met her on the 7th and on the 8th. I performed a whole 1978 studio album live. It was standing room only. It was the only time I'd ever done that. Oh, really? So he did the solo album? That would have been fun, right? Boy, that probably didn't go over well, did it? Did it sound good? Was anyone there? It was standing room only. It was the only time I'd ever done that. There might be YouTube videos of it that floating around. Thank you for that, Ace. I need that. I should have recorded it with real camera crew. Yeah, would have been a good idea. Because I haven't done it since. But I met her the day before. She had a booth with these mugs. Lifts glass. He lifts a glass featuring a painting of Ace's face from the classic 1970s Kiss era. She painted one for me, of me. Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, you ever heard of them? Gene Simmons and Peter Criss. She gave me this one. She's a very beautiful woman. We got to talking, and then she came to one of my shows subsequently, several months later. And one thing led to another. I don't think I need to go any further. Nah. Frehley, who previously said that he was enjoying the seasons, I'm enjoying the seasons. Living in the U.S. Northeast, later added, I'm really excited because we just bought a 6,000 square foot house with a 3,000 square foot basement with 9-foot ceiling. So I'm going to build an amazing state-of-the-art recording studio. And I'll be able to record my next several albums there. 10,000 Volts was released on February 23rd via MNRK Music Group, formerly E1 Music. The 11-track LP was produced by Frehley and Steve Brown, Trickster. And we do have Trickster news in here because Pete Lawrence coming in with something. Ace's latest original album is the follow-up to Spaceman, which was released in October 2. Okay, there you go. Blackie Lawless, he's going to quickly explain to us why it is an impossibility that the original members can perform these concerts with him that's coming up. He's got a good answer for it, I think. Oh, yes. You know, a sparkling water with lime in it. Yes, please. Thank you. I mean, I hate to be just so, so excited about it, but my heavens, it is a tasty beverage. After a long, hard day of busting your back, low pay, overworked, underpaid, boss say, why can't you do more? Well, because if I do, my back will break. But you come home, and it used to be, cracking open an ice cold beer, just god damn it. And now I've kind of replaced the sparkling limes with the idea of beer. It worked for me. You're taking big chugs, you're like, That's just the way I would have done it with an ice cold beer. Nice big chugs. 2 big cans. 2 24-ounce cans. There he is. There's Blackie Lawless. He's standing up, guys. This is an old picture. So this is probably ouch, my back hurts, end of the tour, surgeries, back, Sweden Fest, back on chair. He's standing there. Blackie Lawless explains why Wasp's original lineup reunion is pretty much an impossibility for the upcoming tour. In a new interview with Chris Aiken Presents, Blackie Lawless spoke about the 40th anniversary of the release of Wasp's first album. To celebrate this classic metal album, Wasp will, and that's Wasp, we are sexual perverts, or we are sexy people, will, for the first time in 40 years, play the entire album from top to bottom, start to finish, on a fall 2024 North American tour, dubbed Album 1 Alive. This fall. Support on the trek will come from, and we just did this band on the channel, Death Angel, and this band, Unto Others. And what'd you think of that? Get in the comments, tell me what you thought of that song, Butterfly. I'm tearing off your wings. Butterfly. What do you think of that, Blackie Lawless? Oh, I think that's a great song. He sounds like an angel, that singer. Asked if he was open to any of the former Wasp members who played on the Wasp album, guitarist Chris Holmes, guitarist Randy Piper, and drummer Tony Richards making guest appearances at any of the shows on the upcoming tour. Blackie said, as transcribed by Blabbermouth, I remember specifically having this conversation with someone who had been through the same thing. And he had basically lost his original band and had to rebuild it with studio musicians. And I remember him telling me at that point, he goes, "These guys are ringers. They're killers. These musicians." And it wasn't until years went by that I began to understand what he was saying and would compare his original band to what he had built later on with really ringers musicians. And he was right. He was right on the money. Okay, so basically what he's saying is this fella who will remain nameless, like Dumbledore or whoever, the one you can't say the name. Remember that in the movies? Don't say his name. But I gotta say his name. He's right around the fucking corner. What do I say? The guy? Here's what happened. Here's what happened to us, quite frankly. When we started, and this goes back to what we were saying earlier on in this conversation about crafting your skills as a songwriter, getting better as a musician, learning how to use the studio as a tool. All those things you learn, the records get better. But the records get more complex. You reach a point where the musicianship starts to grow. Not everybody in the original incarnation of the band grows together. Or do they grow in the same direction? Everybody's heard the age-old adage about, well, we broke up because of musical differences. And as corny as that may sound, a lot of times there is truth to that. And you really find people either growing in different directions or some guy can't keep up with the rest of the class. And so, for one reason or another, if nothing else, just attrition will start to weed guys out, especially when you start getting into more complicated material. So he's basically saying, they're not any good anymore. And we grew in different directions. You can't really compare the band as much as whatever the first record that we did, the magic that is on that. And I recognize that not as a fan, but as the person who created it. Again, you're never going to see it like an average audience member does, because you can't. You're in a bubble. You cannot see the way they see. You have to really open your ears and listen to them when they talk, whether you agree or not. You have to listen and you have to try to take what they are saying into consideration. But, okay, what he's saying there is when the fans say, how about a 40th reunion where you start playing the good tunes again? And then he starts selling tickets. So you got to keep your ear to the grindstone. And when Blackie's not on tour, he's listening. And people are saying, man, how sweet would it be with that album coming up, 40-year anniversary of that first record. So he says, my God, I'm looking at all this online, and they're talking about that first album, and they're correct in saying that it's the anniversary coming up. You know what? Oh boy, I've had an idea. We can do a tour based on that and play the album from top to bottom, front to back. Whether you agree or not, you have to listen and you have to try to take what they are saying into consideration. But when you reach a point where that band grows, in our particular case, you go from the first record to 1989's fourth album, The Headless Children. That had Frankie Benali on the drums, didn't it?
The band that created the first record could not create Headless. It was impossible. The musicianship that was required to make Headless was vastly different than what created that first album.
I mean, the really good record, the very first one, the really, really good one? What are you picking? Put that in the comments. Headless or the first record? There's some good tunes on Headless Children. Why do you call it the Headless Children, though? I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that imagery set in the back of my head where I'm seeing a bunch of little torsos and little fingers, little digits, little toes, little arms, little legs, and no heads. I don't like it.
The first album was with the attitude and snot and spit. That was angry record. That was an angry record made by an angry band. But it kind of reminds me of in the movie Rocky III, where Rocky wants to fight Mr. T. And Burgess Meredith, who plays his manager, Mickey, he tells him,
"Rock, you can't." He goes, "You can't fight Mr. T. You can't win, Rocky."
And Rocky goes,
Yeah, I can. Yeah, you don't know a fucking thing. Burgess Meredith,
What was his name? Coach?
you don't know nothing, coach. I could beat him.
"Listen, kid," he goes, "every fighter thinks they got one in them." He goes, "That's the worst thing that could happen to a fighter happened to you. You got civilized."
I don't even know who the hell I'm doing right now. What?
that happens to rock bands.
Do they want to fight Mr. T? Blackie Lawless wants to fight Mr. T? Is this some kind of subliminal message to Mr. T going, "That's right, motherfucker, I'm calling you out"? I didn't want to call you out when you were, 35, but I'll call you out now.
You mentioned earlier on this conversation about the first 5 years of bands together. If you go back and you look at most bands that you like, their bones were made the first 5 years they were together. Almost every band fits that description. There are a few exceptions, and that doesn't mean that they cannot go out to make great records after that 5-year period. But their bones are made those first 5 years there together. And then they start moving and growing in different directions, and it changes and it morphs.
Are you going to say you appreciate him at all? You going to say anything about him?
I appreciate the energy level they came out with at the first Wasp record. I really do. But how do I go back to guys I've been playing with for 25 years and say, "Your tenure in this band has been 5 times as long as the guys that I worked with originally, but you can't play on this tour"? I cannot do that. And secondly, we're gonna do the show in 2 halves. Oh boy. The first half is the first record in its entirety.
Okay.
The second half is like a best of set. The bands that's gonna play that first set has to be able to play the second set as well.
All right, good for you, buddy. Glenn Hughes here, looking at him. Where'd you guys say he was from? New Jersey? No, he's from, I hope they say, because I think last time I was doing me English accent, something like that. But he's. What do you think of that new song about the what's it called? It's from Deep Purple, something door, my portable door. Yeah, Glenn Hughes, Blast Deep Purple's Ian Gillan and Roger Glover. I will never speak to any of them ever again. When you say something like that, I mean, never again is a long time. And you have to do something fairly hitting the bone. Like, you really hit my tenderonies. You really hit my nerves and my tendons with what you've done, Ian. You know? So to say that, we got to find out. He's looking good there. In a new interview with Guitar Interactive Magazine, legendary vocalist bassist Glenn Hughes once again looked back on his 2016 induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where he was honored along with other former and current members of Deep Purple. Asked if he has since spoken to any of the other current or former members of Deep Purple who were inducted that night, apart from singer David Coverdale,
Slide it in right to the Coverdale.
Glenn said, as transcribed, "No, I will never speak to any of them again, simply because they were rude. Both Roger Glover, Deep Purple bassist, and Ian Gillan, Purple, Deep Purple singer, were rude to David and I." Oh, did David Coverdale get some too? Very, very hurtful. I didn't give a fuck, actually, because I knew they were rude to begin with. I was the only sober man there. I think they still like to put him on, right? Old Ian Gillan, he likes to have a couple cocktails, doesn't he? I don't care about those guys. Gillan was rude to me on stage, accepting the award. I went to congratulate him. He looked at me in the eyes like I didn't exist, like you were a ghost. Because if he's looking straight at you, but you see no soul or no mirrored reflection in his eyes, that means he's thinking that you're invisible. The guy has a problem with me, period. I'll let him run with it. I feel bad for him. I'm really sorry about his wife, Braun Gillan. What happened to her? Who passed away in November 2022, reportedly after a long illness. Thank you, Blabbermouth. I've tried to reach out to him. He doesn't want to know. I've tried to make some kind of friendship with him over the last 40 years. He doesn't want to know. David Coverdale and I don't exist to him. Is it just because, it's all singers, kind of I'm better than you stuff? I mean, I love Ian Gillan, man. Put that in the comments down there. Who's your favorite Deep Purple singer out of all of them? I wish him only the best, but I have no time left for that behavior. More than 3 years ago, Glenn told Eon Music that Deep Purple's 2016 induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was a little difficult because, let's call it personal problems. It was David and I holding hands. Oh, really? It was David and I holding hands, and the other guys, unfortunately, we just don't get along with the other guys at all. Ian Pace, really? Is he a stinker? Is he a bastard? David and Glenn we just don't get along with the other guys at all. So we kept ourselves to ourselves, David and Glenn with our wives. And it was great, okay? David and I, what a great time. And we closed the show with Cheap Trick and Sheryl Crow and our friends in Chicago. Saturday, in the park, think it was the 4th of July. You know what's a touchy subject, huh? You want me to tell you what's a touchy subject? It was not an easy night for us. If you look at the body language, it's pretty... Now I gotta go watch it. What year was that? 2016? I gotta go watch. If you look at the body language, it's pretty obvious. But again, David and I have been thick and thin for so long. I just dearly love him. We held hands on stage. Regarding Deep Purple, I have no idea what they're doing. And I don't really care. Hughes' comments came less than 2 months after David expressed his exasperation at Deep Purple over how he and Glenn were treated by their former bandmates. And he's fucking David Coverdale. Whitesnake. I mean, he's up there in the echelons of rock, right? He and Glenn were treated their Deep Purple, along with Hughes from 1970. What? How he and Glenn were treated by their former band ahead of the Rock Hall Induction. The singer, who played with Deep Purple alongside and with Hughes from 1973 to 1976, said, Glenn Hughes and I were told, well, we don't want you singing with us. Initially, I'd spoken to Ian Gillan about coming up and singing the backgrounds of Smoke on the Water, because originally they were going to close the show. So that suddenly was pulled. They tried to stop us doing speeches, and my wife was fucking furious. Apart from the fact she spent a fortune on a posh dress. Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich inducted Deep Purple into the Rock Hall. I gotta watch it now. Rock Hall. Deep Purple had been on the ballot 3 times, and Ulrich has been championing their inclusion for years. Deep Purple's first 3 lineups were inducted into the Rock Hall, including guitarist Ritchie Blackmore, drummer Ian Pace, keyboardist John Lord, and various singers and bassists, Rod Evans, Gillan, Roger Glover, and Coverdale and Hughes. There you go. Pete Loran, Trickster. Look at this suave guy. It looks like fucking Fonzie. He's like, hey, what are you doing out here, huh? Pete Loran. He's going to talk. I guess Trickster's out there stabbing each other's in the back. Crack another big boy. Pete Loran says it's pretty stupid with the Trickster bandmates. But the thing that caught me was he said, I think he uses the word annihilate. And I'm like, man, what are they on about? Peter Loran. The modern day that's a good looking man. That's a good looking older man. Was he one of those guys that had the long hair in the front saying, give it to me good? And they had the goddamn lumberjack shirts on but open and their chests hanging out with their nipples and everything. Pete Loran says it was pretty stupid of his Trickster bandmates to annihilate each other in the press. Hey, any news is good news, baby. In a new interview with Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I think he's the, my ears want to pop. These allergies are killing me. Pollen and all that. But I've watched some of Jason Green stuff. Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I think he's the road manager for Stephen Pearcy. Because when I see his videos, he's usually out and about, but he interviews people and whatnot. It's not bad. Kind of a kickback dude. But it says, in a new interview with Waste Some Time with Jason Green, Trickster frontman Pete Loran was asked about the recent war of words between the band's drummer Mark Gus Scott and Trickster's only 2 actively touring members, guitarist vocalist Steve Brown, and he's the guy that worked with Ace Frehley and wrote basically the whole album about Lara Cove, right? And bassist P.J. Farley, and that name rings a bell to me. He said, as transcribed by Blabbermouth, well, as far as beef with Gus and those guys, that went to a whole level during interviews where they were just annihilating each other, quite frankly. I think that was pretty stupid on everybody's part. Hopefully, they're all past that. There's bad blood between a couple of those guys that I don't know if that's ever going to get fixed. Asked if there's any truth to the online rumors that Gus tried to trademark the Trickster name. Oh, Gus, you son of a bitch. Behind the other members' backs after Brown let it lapse a few years ago. He's fucking watching. He's checking the trademarks every month. Did it go? Did it go? Pete said, I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm thinking there's a lot more going on there than just what you think. Probably years and years of stuff that just erupted. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm good with everybody. He's a kickback dude. He's got his fucking shades on. If this picture was to pan down, where are we at, Loran? If this picture was to pan down, he's got his arms crossed and a leg kicked up. Now, someone find this picture, a full-length shot of Pete Loran from Trickster sitting against this log cabin or this rustic dining facility. And he's going to have his arms crossed and a leg up on the wall. He's a kick-back dude. Anyways, Loran, who is now based in Arizona, went on to say that he has no problems with Brown or Farley actively touring under the Trickster name. So he doesn't have a problem with them doing that. Backed by Ben Hands on percussion. There you go, baby, Hands. It's missing the D. I know that, but hey, how you fucking doing, man, huh? The fucking Ben Hands to play the drums. These hands! These fucking hands! I'm losing it. Without him and Scott being involved, I'm great with that, he said. I'm all for it. And I'm glad they're doing it. And I don't have the time to dedicate to it. Between the stuff I have going on at home. Is he a daddy? Daddy of 5? Several years back, my kids were both in their teens, 2 boys. So to do fly-out dates every weekend and be gone from Thursday to Monday or whatever it is, I felt like I was missing a lot. He's a cool dude. He's a good daddy, and he's a cool dude. I felt like I was missing a lot of time there where things could go sideways, especially with the kids at that age. So I wanted to be around for that. And also just financially. It wasn't going to make things work for me anyway. So I stepped back. And I told the guys, do your thing. And it started out as an acoustic Trickster, but it's really not. They call it Trickster, which is fine with me. I have no problem with that at all. Asked who sings the Trickster songs for the Brown Farley touring version of the band, Loran said, Steve does. Steve sings them, and he sings them really good. I mean, for all intent and purposes, they're his songs. Most of the melodies, lyrics, they're all his anyways. Now give it to me good. Yeah. All right, we're done with this shit. Let's get on to Tom Morello really quick, because I saw a video. I think it was just a quick TikTok, because I flicked it, maybe 30 seconds in, flicked it, and it was gone. It's on to something else. But a video with him, and it's got to be one of his posts. It was one of his posts, now that I think about it, because he says, my prodigy son. Oh, nothing to see here. Just me and my prodigy son. Guitarist, son, 13, prodigy. I was like, have the therapies looked at him? Joe Satriani and whoever else, do they sit down, do they scope him out and go, he's a prodigy? Or do you say that, lovingly because he's your sweet son? And all sons and daughters are wonderful, and they're very great at everything they do. Tom Morello says his collaboration with his 13-year-old son was inspiration for his upcoming rock album. And that bit that I heard, that I flicked away 30 seconds, it sounded pretty good. It didn't sound too bad at all. It sounded Tom Morello, Rage Against the Machine, Audio Slave. At last weekend's Download Festival, my lips are dry. And I don't know what the hell happened to me, but in the last year and a half, I've turned into a chapstick guy. You get middle-aged, and all of a sudden you're doing more things Tap stick. Oh, now I need my skin's so dry all the time and wrinkled, and now I need lotion, and I can't stand the feel of that. You know. Anyways, at last week's Download Festival in the United Kingdom. Oh, they was over there in England. Right. Oh, they was getting all Rage Against them. Oh. Last week's Download Festival in the United Kingdom. Rage Against the Machine guitarist Tom Morello spoke to Neil Jones of Total Rock about his upcoming solo single, Soldier in the Army of Love. Oh, that's a nice title. When it first started out there, where I read Soldier in the Army, I thought it was going to say something about who liked to kill. But it says, of love. Soldier in the Army. Oh, that's nice. Due on June 28. The song, which was co-written with his guitar wizard son, Roman Morello, was described by Tom as a
generational rock anthem from the Morellos. Ha, ha, ha. Soldier in the Army of Love is the first single.
Oh. Soldier in the Army of Love is the first single from Tom's first ever full-length solo rock album, due later out in the year. Oh. Asked why now was the right time to release that full-length solo rock album. Tom told Total Rock,
well, that's a pretty good question you've laid at my feet. I must answer it now. Well, one of the things that was very inspiring was I have a 13-year-old Guitar Prodigy son. That's right, I said it. Roman, who he wrote this song together as father and son. Some daddies fish with their sons. Some daddies play soccer with their sons or whatever they do, but in our family, because I play guitar, we write rock songs together. And it was just so rocking. It was sort of the genesis of this whole idea. I've done a lot of records, collaborative records laced with hip-hop, electronica, acoustic records, and this is really the first Tom Morello solo rock album. And this song, Soldier in the Army of Love, oh, and it ain't no soldier in the army who wants a kill and all that. I like what you did there, because you changed it to the Soldier in the Army of Love. Really sort of encapsulates what it's about, because you're a soldier in the Army of Love. Tom went on to praise his son's musical talent, saying, well, it's nice to see the DNA has flowed in the right direction. And I think that rock's in a pretty good place, because there's another Morello coming. Oh, really? So what are you trying to tell me, Tom? Are you saying your prodigy guitar son is going to be the next big Jimmy Page or something like that? Asked if his upcoming solo album will be all riffs, Tom said. No, there's certainly a heavy dose of Morellian Rage Against the Machine audio slave riffs. Ha ha! Maybe it's got 2 feet in the world and 1 foot in Bruce Springsteen's 1978 album Darkness on the Edge of Town, too. Oh! Last year, Tom Morello shared footage to Instagram. Oh, what did he do on Instagram? Tom Morello, he shared footage on Instagram of Roman playing Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name of. See, there's one of them songs. One of them songs that says killing in it. With Tom's rage band, Tim Comerford. Very uncomfortable name to say. That first part, coming, Tim Comerford and Brad Wilk, while the band was on tour in 2022. All right, that's enough of that. 1980 hair metal. We got your comments coming up right after this. And of course, you're seeing Blackie Lawless again when he was young and healthy and had a good, strong back. And he didn't have that big flying freaking motorcycle that he uses for a mic stand. It was back to the good old days.
But this says 1980s hair metal docuseries, Nothing But a Good Time, coming to Paramount Plus. This strikes all of my fancies. Let me tell you something. I have Paramount Plus. I will say this. It is the worst functioning app I have ever seen in my life. But I have it. Now, someone's going to say, Shane, take a drink of your drink. Okay. As someone's going to say to me, Shane, you've just complained about Paramount Plus. Why would you have that? Well, because I am a reality TV junkie. And on Paramount Plus, it has all seasons of Survivor, all seasons of Amazing Race, all seasons of, I've kind of even been watching that new one with Phil Kehogan of Amazing Race called Strong Motherfuckers. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like about the working man, working people of the world. And they got to, load that cement over. You got to build a wall, but first you got to get all the cement over there, whatever. But that's why I have it. So this strikes my fancy. This makes me say, all right, maybe I will keep the subscription until I watch all of this. Paramount Plus today announced that the new docuseries Nothing But a Good Time, the uncensored story of 80s hair metal, will premiere exclusively on the service later this year. Directed by, oh my goodness, Jeffrey Tremaine, Jackass and the Dirt. Guys, Jeffrey Tremaine is the guy that did Jackass and the Dirt. The three-part three-part series showcases the notorious. Pardon me about the burping, guys. Okay, I know someone's just like, Jesus Christ, this is like the worst podcast I've ever. There's no professionals here. I thought when I pushed the goddamn button, there'd be a guy talking to him through a headset or something. The three-part series showcases the notorious wild 80s hard rock phenomenon and features interviews with, those who live the scene and also those who love to do these kinds of things. VH1, MTV, you give them a ring, they'll get on the next flight out. Including Bret Michaels of Poison, Stephen Pearcy of Rat, Nuno Betancourt of Extreme, and Dave Snake Sabo of Skid Row. And the Rackman, that's right, Ricky Rackman, MTV's Headbangers Ball. I would love to see, he's way out of the loop. He doesn't know what he's doing. But man, I just have a special place in my heart for Ricky Rackman and Headbangers Ball. I am sorry. It just wasn't the same. They got those other jackasses in there. Along with Corey Taylor. See, he's over there. He loves it. Give him a microphone. Give him a podcast seat. Corey will sit in it. And Steve-O from Jackass, among many others. And is it just me, but is Steve-O's voice getting higher and higher and higher? It seems like it's escalating. Let's see. Based on the acclaimed book, Nothing But a Good Time, The Uncensored History of the 80s Hard Rock Explosion by esteemed rock journalist Tom Berron and Richard Beinstock, the series delivers a fresh and shockingly candid behind-the-scenes look at one of the most iconic eras. Each episode showcases the insanity and blazing ambition that has enthralled generations of music lovers and continues to influence culture to this day. This docu-series is a celebration of the most outrageous decade in rock and roll. It's my love letter to the 80s, said Tremaine. Nothing But a Good Time, the uncensored story of 80s hair metal, is executive produced by Jeffrey Tremaine and Shanna Newton for Guerrilla Flicks, Eric Wattenberg and Scott Lonker and Will Nothenhacker for Wheelhouse Spoke Studios, Eric Olson and Bruce Gilmer and Michael Maniasi for MTV Entertainment Studios. You like that I read you those credits? It is time to get into your comments. That's right. It's the best time, don't you know? It's the best time of the podcast, and I'm sorry. Pardon me, I'm spacing off here, but I am seeing a read more under Miss Althea. I am confirming this with my eyes right now. I am seeing it, and I'm seeing a thumbs up there already for her. Let's get into it. Of course, Mike Buchanan. He's got his laundry list. He's got his honey-dos and honey-don'ts. If you're married, do you have honey-don'ts? I can think of one. It would take place in the bedroom. Let's get into it. I gotta swallow that first. See, I'm so excited to get into your comments that I don't even finish swallowing. Mike Buchanan say, let's begin with the issue of not seeing show more in comments. Not knowing what would happen to your video, but I would suggest refreshing the page. I mean, that's interesting. I can't imagine that it would do anything other than just maybe pop the video right back up. Or possibly use a different browser. No. I'm not using Foxhound or Knick-Knack, Paddywhack or any of it. I myself have been having issues with Chrome, that's what I use, and YouTube, so I switched over to Opera. I've never even heard of that. Oh, and I also wanted to be grown into a tree. You also want to be grown in a tree? Okay, so anyone that's just listening for the first time, there's this thing apparently, or it's fake. I don't know, but you can you take your torso, your head, and all of it, your corpse, and hopefully they don't scoop out all your goodies, But they put you in this seed thing, and then they plant you. And then all of the bugs and maggots and everything eat you, and you root into a tree, and you become part of a tree. And it refreshes the planet with delicious oxygen. That's great. Congratulations. Maybe you and I could be planted next to each other in Miss Althea's front yard. I mean, if she'd have us, it'd be an honor. But I don't know. I mean, that's something we'd have to discuss with her. Mike Buchanan says, and even on vacation, I still have a movie. Oh, you're on vacation. Still have a movies that are bad, but we love them anyway. Devil Doll, 1964, a real treat. Anybody who is afraid of dolls or even clowns should stay away from this movie. It is a nearly perfect horror film, really. Just about everything works. The cast does an excellent job. The late Bryant Halliday is terrific as an evil magician, the great Vorelli. He also seemed to be enjoying playing the character tremendously and gives it his all. The late William Sylvester is also terrific as a journalist, Mark English. Hugo, the ventriloquist dummy, is something else. Oh, you got me right there. And it's going to be one of them ugly-ass 1964 ventriloquist dummies. The use of lighting and low-angle shot help make the mysterious dummy all the more frightening. My only criticism is the overuse of tight close-ups. I think that was overdone. Despite that Devil Doll is still a fantastic horror film and is definitely worth your time, in my opinion. Enjoy, but keep the lights on when you watch it. Grab your favorite beverage. Sit in your favorite chair, pop some popcorn, and press play. Sorry about forgetting my tagline last week. Hey, it's your tagline, buddy. Run with it or don't run with it. But don't allow me to tell you what to do. It's not my place. I just like it. Mike Buchanan says, again, still not happy about my Wasp concert being canceled and never being rescheduled. I do fully understand. You get that money back? I think you said you did. I do fully understand about having a bad, as I suffer from lower back pain. Now, I'm the opposite on chiropractor. I love mine, really. And yes, animal chiropractor is a thing. My dog's vet is also a chiropractor on animals. And no, neither of them go to him for that. All right, you answered that for me. So it's real. Have you seen that funny ass video where you see that doctor doing the chiropractic on the dog, and then you see a guy, and he didn't really do it, right? But then it kind of clicks to this guy, and he's got his little chihuahua, and you hear it crack. And then the next shot is him burying the dog, and the kid's crying. It's funny. It makes me giggle. It makes me smile, okay? Mike Buchanan on James Hetfield looks like he belongs in that movie Smile, which I highly recommend watching if you haven't done so already. I'm drawing a blank on it. Smile. But he was a cop, remember? James Hetfield was a cop. But get yourself a Diet Coke and put it in the comments if you remember where he was a cop. Netflix series. That's all I'll give you. I gave you too much, too. Okay, with Smile, which I highly recommend watching if you haven't done so. From what I have heard, I like Category 7 so far, and will be checking out the full album. Sorry, James, but I love going down the rabbit hole. That's where you find bands who haven't seen the light of day. Amen to that. Isn't there something completely gratifying about finding some band that's like really trying to get their music out there? And, they got, 15 followers on on Spotify or whatever. And it's just good. And you're like, oh, shit. I swear, I know people like that. My friend Chris Andrus, if that guy would have packed his guitars and shit and moved out to California when we were younger, he would be huge right now, I'm telling you. Go check out Chattertooth on Spotify. Go listen to that. I do play the drums on it, but it's his music, it's his songs. And also, we did another album, but there was a weird change of a band name. We changed it to Chattertooth, but we put the album out as Out, and there's an industrial guy, and so there was a whole fucking thing. And so go listen to this album called Songs to Forget Me By. And you'll know it because it's kind of an orange and blue and white cover with a kid with a cowboy hat on. A cute little baby face with a cowboy hat. Go listen to that and go listen to Chattertooth. And listen to how amazing this guy is as a songwriter. And it's almost unknown. I mean, the music's out there, but it's like nobody knows about it. Go listen to it if you're interested. If you're not, don't worry about it. You love going down the rabbit hole. That's where you find bands you haven't seen the light of day. Is there anything Gene won't do to make more money? I am not going to see him shake his junk at the Thunder from Down Under, starring Gene Simmons tour. I'm going to read that again. I am not going to see him shake his junk at the Thunder from Down Under, starring Gene Simmons tour. Yeah. Mike Buchanan says, I think all of these bands that want to get the original members together for touring need to take a page out of Halloween's camp. Yeah. Just put everyone on stage and rock out. Remember, it's for the fans. Great. Yep. Mike Buchanan says, well, here we go. Van Halen's album, A Different Kind of Truth, in my opinion, musically is great, but vocally not so much. So that's why Davies don't want it up there. But overall, I would give it like a 2.5 stars out of 5. Oh, okay, that's a half. It probably has to do with the expectation of Van Halen getting back together with Dave, and it just falls flat. Yeah. And now it's time for the Jive Talkin' Jokes of the Week, provided by Mike Buchanan. And look, Roman. He's going to tell us about Roman Morello. Roman numerals are hard until you count to 159. Then it just clicks. Is that what it is? CLIX is 159? Oh my God, he's doing more of them. But I can't remember how to write 1, 1,000, 51, 6, and 500 in Roman numerals. I'm livid. Is that the real, though? No, it's not, right? Please remember to keep all comments 101, 6, 50. Civil. Oh, I see what he's doing here now. So he's using the numbers to teach us how to do Roman numerals. The 1 is the 1. 1,000 is an M. 51 is L1. 6, yes. Oh, you son of a gun. That is ingenious. You're like Rain Man. How do you figure that out? You're like Rain Man. All right, let's keep going here. Please remember to keep all comments 101, 6, 50. Civil. A Roman walks into a bar and asks for... it's crazy that all these jokes are about Roman numerals or Tom Morello's son. A Roman walks into a bar and asks for a Martinez. Did you mean a martini? I just bit my tongue. A Roman walks into a bar and asks for a Martinez. Did you mean martini? Asked the bartender. Sir, if I wanted a double, I would have asked for one, said the Roman. A Roman walks into a bar, holds up 2 fingers, and says, 5 shots, please. Is that really? I was always 3 fingers. I say, how do you like it, sir? How do you like your mint julep? I say, give me 3 fingers. Give me fucking 3 fingers of that. The 501 650 made me do it. It's as close as I could get to the devil. And to help you out, 501 equals DI, 6 is VI, of course, and 50 is L. We know that now. And finally, he's like the Rain Man. He's like one of those genius guys. You know, you throw matchsticks on the ground, he goes, that's 107, because there's 3 missing. They're like, that's interesting. This box of matches comes with 110 matches. Oh. Who here knows how Roman numerals work? I for 1. That's pretty damn good, man. I'm impressed. All right, Miss Althea, I was just thinking about, sorry, I got a little scatterbrained because there was this, I was having a flashback memory when I was a kid, and me and my buddy, when I said, I'm impressed. It's me and my buddy, we were on drugs, okay? I was a very young man, 19. We were on acid. Trying that out, giving it a try. We went to get cigarettes at this 7-Eleven or something. I was into some shit, okay? Cigarettes and acid, all that. But we walked in and we were kind of tripping out, and we couldn't have been 19 because we didn't have ID to buy the cigarettes and we needed cigarettes. We walk in and this ogre of a guy comes walking through the door and we're just tripping out because it seemed like it was going to hit his head on the roof. It was, and the I'm impressed part comes, it was the 7-Eleven clerk because we walk up to the counter and we're like, oh, okay, we're going to say, hey, a pack of cigarettes, please, and hope he doesn't ID us. And the big guy comes up to the counter and goes, what are you guys doing awake at this hour? And we're just like, oh, and he goes, I'm a welder. And then he just walked out the door. And this guy that looked like Marty Feldman that was behind the counter looked at us and goes, well, I'm impressed. Just popped in my mind. I wanted to share that with you. Miss Althea, the fine, the fantastic Miss Althea coming in with this. And we do have it all here. The dumbstruck fool says she thinks YouTube hates her. Purple devil emoticons. First, I had the days-long issue of any comment I posted on any channel being immediately ghosted. And now my weekly Jive Talkin laundry list has been abridged with no read more option in your view mode. Again, yeah, I think there was more to read. My comment on 132 is definitely there in its entirety. Mike B replied to one of my points, as you saw. Your viewers, listeners, are free to go back to the episode if they care about what more I had to say. If the situation happens again, oh, please don't say this. When people say that, if this situation happens again, oh, God, what is it, the belt across the ass cheeks? Or is it, if the situation happens again, the only thing I can think to suggest is reloading or refreshing the page. That's what Mike said. I think I'll try that. And if that doesn't work, then I guess my battleship has been sunk. It won't happen. So here goes nothing. Miss Althea talking Blackie Lawless. I was expecting the story to reveal that the chair was named Roy Orbison or Rick Nelson to compliment Elvis the mic stand. He should do that. What do you want to sit on? A Roy Orbison or a Rick Nelson? I feel like Roy Orbison would be a bit more comfortable. He's pudgy fella. To compliment, I like comfort. I don't know about Ricky Nelson. To compliment Elvis the mic stand, which seemed to be absent in this photo. Yeah. He used to make a big stink about that. Like, I won't play these venues because they won't allow Elvis to be in here. But everywhere you see him, he's just got a regular mic stand. Probably comes down to a smaller bus. You ain't taking the fucking motorcycle with you, bud. Sorry, we don't have room. If you want a drummer with you, you ain't taking the motorcycle. Miss Althea on James Hetfield, the algebra or geometry teacher. Now he is also looking like he could play Bert the cop in a community theater production of It's a Wonderful Life. His "They Make Me Smile" endorsement of Category 7 is a viral meme. Is viral meme ready? Could reality finally be settling in? I'm going to read that again because I missed something. I was looking clear down here. What am I doing? Someone get the Weather Channel on this, please. Oh. They Make Me Smile endorsement of Category 7 is a viral meme. Is viral meme ready? Someone get the Weather Channel in on this, please. Miss Althea on Gene Simmons. And the topic of money equals boring. And like he needs to be making any more money. And I am honestly surprised that he declared his business model as only semi-genius when he is so grandiose about seemingly everything else. Could reality finally be settling in? Question mark. Miss Althea on Marty Friedman. Konnichiwa. That's what it is. Hello. His book sounds fascinating, and I am very interested in checking it out. If he spills some tea about the Gazette, I will plots. Does he know them? And I was prepared to totally skewer you if you did not start riffing on Turning Japanese. Yes. Still one of my all-time faves from the 1980s. You know what another one that I heard today was? I eat cannibals. Da, 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 da. It's incredible. To me, I eat cannibals. And I was like, God damn it, I like that. It makes you want to eat human flesh, that song. It's the weirdest thing in the world because you just start listening to this and you're like, oh, God, man, I go for a fucking big bite of a thigh right now. Miss Althea on Diamond Dave. That's David Lee Roth. Will he stop picking on Wolfie already? Question mark. Is this his way of keeping his mouth moving because no one wants to hear him sing anymore? Or maybe that's just me. Sounds like he and Sebastian Bach should form a We Don't Let Sleeping Dogs Lie club. That's a good idea. But boy, oh boy, guys, have we... I mean... Am I hallucinating in the fact that Ronnie Radke posted a picture of Sebastian Bach on all fours, completely naked with a ball gag in? There's been no reporting on this. And he is silent. Sebastian Bach is silent. And I'm not saying I want to see more of it. I'm just saying I was blown away. I'd never seen anything. I'd never heard anything like that. And he's going, don't push me, bro. Like he had video or something. I don't know. They got to join that club. We don't let sleeping dogs lie club. This is unless one of them wants to instate a smear campaign against the other. That would be rich. There you go, Miss Althea. Did I give, yeah, he's got his... Of course I gave him that heart for them damn Roman numeral. Genius. Goddamn Rain Man. We got Wretched. We get Wretched here. Wretched forever. Wretched forever. Let's see what we got here. Wretched. All right, buddy. He's commented 5 times on my channel, and I thank you for that, good sir. Let's find out what you got to say. I just said to myself, you know what? You guys are just a bunch of goddamn jackasses. That was good. Oh, was that me? It's in quotes. I don't know. There you go, buddy. There's your heart. And I am not... We got to find out who this guy is. You. Good, because I can't do that at thing. 69 and that and that. But you, I like that. You. That's you. Hey, you. Oh, my goodness. I didn't even see the comment until now. React. My friend, you. Anywhere else is a good place for the... for requests, but here, this is the sacred zone. React to Goat Moon by NGA. Have we done NGA before? I feel like we have. But it's like, ah, or something like that, right? Okay, buddy, I got to leave you hanging. No hearts, no nothing, but I'll try and remember that. Thank you, though. But, you know. And Sticky Doll, the fine Sticky Doll podcast and program, video programming and show. Those fine folks. Here they are. Go check them out. I think it's all... Is it on YouTube? Tell me what's going on next time you comment here. I know it's on Facebook. And I think you guys do it on Instagram live or something. Do you got the TikTok? Sticky Doll says, first of all, thank you so much for that hairdo. And I'm going bald. I'm going bald in here. I can't believe it. You know, everyone used to say, oh, he's just got the thickest hair. I mean, just, you know, people would just grab my hair and say, look at how thick and full his hair is. And now all of a sudden, it's going, man. It's going in the front. And I will go Gallagher. I am not going to be a shaved head guy polo shirt. No. First of all, thank you so much for the hairdo. Moving on. Blackie has really gone overboard with the chocolate cake and Stater Brothers peanut butter cup ice cream. God, that sounds good. Back surgery or no back surgery, he's packed on the pounds, baby. Those Wasp football jerseys aren't very slimming anymore. And I don't know how he fits in them because they're fitted. You know, they're not... I mean, maybe he says, make me the stretchy ones. Not the thick-fibered ones. I want the stretchy kind of fake one. But those Wasp football jerseys aren't very slimming anymore. That being said, we love us some Blackie. Thank you for the Saturday entertainment. It is much needed in our life. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And that will conclude this episode of Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo. You made it to the very end. How do you feel about yourself? I mean, take this moment, just breathe, think to yourself, I made it through. I think I can do this every week. I feel like I can do this podcast every week. You know, or at least you gave it the good college try. You made it to the very end. You've listened to it to the very end, and I'm going to play you out with a little tune. And you just say, you know what, that's not for me. I don't think I ever will listen to that again. But hopefully you'll say, you know what, I'm going to come back next week and see what this guy's got. I'm going to give this little guy, this little nobody, a little shot. With that means the world to me. More than you'll ever know. Oh, I'm feeling it. DoorDash is here. DoorDash is here. I'm getting done with Shane's podcast. Open the door. Goddamn DoorDash here. I'm listening to the last few minutes of Jive Talkin with Shane D. Open the door, get those burger fries. Get that burger and fries from DoorDash. Now I've come to the end of the podcast. Come on, baby, let's dive.